Okay, we've got all the clutch linkage hooked up, and now it's time to begin tightening the castellated nuts on the clutch adjuster disc. And there's several different methods in which to do this. The method I like to do best is to hold before you're adjusted right, you hold the clutch lever in the engaged position while tightening the castellated nuts. And you want to get them to the point where they're all evenly tightened at a moderate pressure. And I say moderate, you don't need a lot of pressure, or you're not going to be able to disengage your clutch. And while you're doing this, you can try to engage and disengage the clutch at the same time. But the overall objective here is to get it reasonably tight, and that all three of the castellated nuts and the operating bolts are tightened up evenly. You know, the book is going to tell if you had a spring scale to pull at the end of the clutch lever, you would want to pull till there's about 40 to 50 pounds of pressure to engage and disengage the clutch. You can really do it to your own preference, but you know, as a rule, you want to hear a nice crisp snap in and out. That's a fairly nice crisp snap. Something to remember also, even after we get it adjusted initially, there'll be sort of a break-in period, and you can expect to need to readjust your clutch after just a few hours of run time, especially with new clutch parts and new facings. There's sort of a break-in period, if you will, and expect to be coming back here. But once you get it adjusted to the right amount of pressure, go ahead and install the cotter keys in all three of the operating bolts and the castellated nuts, and then you can install your clutch pulley. So now that we've got the right clutch adjustment, it's time to put in the cotter pins and through the castellated nuts. And it's not always the easiest thing to do to get those cotter pins in there. They tend to need to be persuaded by means of needle nose pliers. For somebody that's never done this before, they're probably thinking, wow, there's not much room to work in there. There's not a lot of clearance. It is important to bend the ends of the cotter pin far enough out of the way that when you go to install your clutch pulley dust cover, that you're not banging into the ends of the cotter pins. So we want to make sure that they're bent up nice and out of the way. Alright, so now it's time to install the clutch pulley dust cover. And this is an area that seems like it'd be pretty simple, but actually there's several things you want to pay attention to. And number one is you'll notice in the outer side of the clutch pulley cover there's three spots that the little bevel is actually flattened out. Now looking at that, one might think, oh, those should go right where the spring clips are, so they slide on nice and easy. Actually not. Those areas are flattened out to get around clearance for the nuts and the castellated nuts and the cotter pins. Otherwise, the bevel lip on the clutch pulley dust cover will catch on the nuts and the cotter pins and get bent and distorted, and you'll cuss and throw a fit trying to install the dust cover. So just make sure you do it right the first time, and it'll be easy. Just remember, the flat spots go over where the castellated nuts are. This is a good spot to have a nice soft rubber hammer, as not to take paint off of the cover. And it's one you kind of finagle and use the hip and gently persuade it on until it's evenly driven on all the way around. It sounds a lot easier than it looks. I better jump in here on this one and help. Alright, so here we are, nearly complete and with the clutch repair job, and we're really down to the clutch pulley brake. So here on the left we have the brand new clutch pulley brake, the clip-on assembly, new from Steiner. Here in the middle we have a clutch pulley brake, which you can see the rivets are worn through, it's glazed. And yeah, this is typical of what you might find on your tractor before restoring it, or even if you're using it day to day. And metal to metal is not a good thing. And here you see one that I had installed on the 720 not all that long ago. You know, this one's still serviceable, but for the sake of the video we're going to show how to take these on and off. It's also important to note, some of the earlier tractors did not use the clip-on style pulley brake. You would buy the lining and rivet the lining directly to the pulley brake arm. And Deere actually in later years substituted all of the pulley brake lining and where you would rivet it on to your pulley brake for the quick clip-on style for the means of convenience. So if you're really worried about authenticity, this may not be the best way to go. But if you're concerned more about function, it's definitely advantageous to put a new pulley brake so your pulley stops, you're not grinding gears, and everything is good. Alright, so here we are with the clutch pulley brake arm installed and getting ready to install the clutch pulley brake lining. So you may have to adjust some of the adjusting screws on the pulley brake arm so that you can slide the lining in. The best thing I know to do is pull your clutch lever back, putting pressure on the pulley brake arm and kind of squeezing the pulley brake in place between the pulley and the arm, and from there you can bend the tabs on the pulley brake. You've got two on the top and bottom, which I would recommend to do first, and then there's two on each side, inside and outside. Bending all those tabs, you can use a small hammer of some sort, or if you have a really big pair of channel locks, you can go that route as well. Well, tractor fans, it looks like we're all wrapped up with this 720 clutch. Now all we've got to do is hook it to a plow and test it out in the field. Hope you can do the same to your tractor with good quality parts from Steiner and a little know-how from this video. Take care and thanks for